The Media Law. United Kingdom. Contempt of Court Act 1981, CCA. Section 10 states that no court may require a person to disclose. Nor is any person guilty of contempt of court for refusing to disclose the source of information contained in a publication for which he is responsible. There are, however, exceptions to this presumption where the disclosure of information will be deemed necessary in the interests of justice, in the interests of national security, or for the prevention of disorder or crime. The Copyright, Design and Patents Act 1988, CDPA, is the main copyright legislation for the protection of original literary, dramatic, musical and artistic works, as well as broadcasts, films, sound recordings and typographical arrangements. Public Order Act 1986 states that it is an offense for a person to use threatening, abusive or insulting words or behavior that causes, or is likely to cause, another person harassment, alarm or distress, and speech that is deemed to incite racial and religious hatred, or hatred on the grounds of sexual orientation. The Broadcasting Act 1996 provides a broadcasting code for television and radio covering standards in programs, sponsorship, and product placement in television programs, fairness and privacy. Human Rights Act 1998, HRA. The HRA provides that everyone has the right to freedom of expression, but this freedom may be subject to formalities, conditions, restrictions or penalties as are prescribed by law and are necessary in a democratic society. Those restrictions may be in the interests of national security, territorial integrity or public safety, for the prevention of disorder or crime, for the protection of health or morals, for the protection of the reputation or rights of others, for preventing the disclosure of information received in confidence, or for maintaining the authority and impartiality of the judiciary. Terrorism Act 2000 defines terrorism, both in and outside of the UK, as the use or threat of one or more of the actions listed below, and where they are designed to influence the government, or an international governmental organization, or to intimidate the public. The use or threat must also be for the purpose of advancing a political, religious, racial or ideological cause. The specific actions included are serious violence against a person, serious damage to property, endangering a person's life, other than that of the person committing the action, creating a serious risk to the health or safety of the public or a section of the public, and action designed to seriously interfere with or seriously to disrupt an electronic system. Freedom of Information Act 2000, FOIA. FOIA requires certain public authorities to routinely publish prescribed information about their actions as well as respond to requests for information from third parties. Anyone can make a request for information regardless of whether they are a corporate entity, a natural person, or a journalist. FOIA does not cover every organization that receives state funds, but it does capture the vast majority of public bodies, e.g., central and local government, police forces and state schools. All recorded information held by or on behalf of a relevant public body is covered by FOIA. The Communications Act 2003, which opened up ownership of UK media to non-EU companies and established Ofcom. The Act also included cross-ownership rules which prevent large newspaper groups from owning a Channel 3 broadcasting license. Introduced the Media Public Interest Test, which allows the Secretary of State to intervene in media mergers to determine whether the merger might result in harm to the public interest, and introduced a restriction on broadcast licenses which requires Ofcom to determine whether a person or company meets the requirements to hold a license. The Terrorism Act 2006 criminalizes the encouragement of terrorism, which includes making statements that endorse terrorist acts. Criminal law also prohibits certain malicious digital communications. From 2009 to 2011, the UK was rocked by a phone hacking scandal concerning journalists intercepting and hacking into the voicemails and phones of private individuals, celebrities and the like. Enterprise and Regulatory Reform Act 2013. In terms of consumer rights, the government has proposed enhancements in order to modernize consumer rights, in particular, to cater for the trend towards online retail and advertising. The Defamation Act 2013, the DA 2013. The number of claims might have been expected to drop because it imposed a higher serious harm threshold for claims and sought to curtail forum shopping, among other things. However, recent figures show that the number of defamation claims rose to unprecedented levels in 2021. According to the Royal Courts of Justice tables for 2021, there were 545 issued defamation claims. Investigatory Powers Act 2016, IPA. That legislation has enhanced safeguards, including a double lock for warrants, which require authorization by the Secretary of State and approval by a judge. The Digital Economy Act 2017 includes a range of measures designed to support the government's aim of the UK becoming a world leader in the digital economy. The Act seeks to empower consumers and provide better connectivity so that everyone has access to broadband wherever they live. Build a better infrastructure fit for the digital future. Data Protection Act 2018. There has been a growing trend for defamation and privacy cases to be framed as claims for breach of the Data Protection Act 2018, which implements the GDPR. The GDPR governs the manner in which personal data may be processed lawfully. The GDPR therefore has application when the publication in question concerns personal data about an individual. Note that as of January 1, 2021, the EU GDPR ceased to apply directly in the UK but effectively became part of UK law with certain revisions following various amendments to the Data Protection, Privacy and Electronic Communications, Amendments etc. EU Exit, Regulations 2019. This means that an amended but similar version of the EU GDPR is effectively now in force in the UK and is commonly known as the UK GDPR.